One of the biggest misconceptions about bonding livestock guardian dogs to animals is the belief that time alone will solve everything. Time matters, but time without structure teaches nothing. A dog left with livestock without clear expectations doesn't automatically bond deeper. It simply adapts to whatever level of responsibility it believes is required. If that level is low, the bond stays shallow. If that level is consistently reinforced, the bond strengthens naturally. This is why environment matters more than intervention. A guardian learns faster from patterns than from corrections. Where livestock rest, where they feed, where pressure enters the property. These patterns form the mental framework the dog uses to decide what deserves attention. When livestock movement is predictable and the dog is consistently placed within that rhythm, bonding accelerates because the dog can anticipate instead of react. Another overlooked factor is emotional neutrality from humans. Excessive praise, constant checking, or emotional reactions around the dog can unintentionally shift its focus away from livestock. A bonded LGD doesn't look to humans for reassurance during stress. It looks to the animals it protects. When humans become the emotional center, the bond redirects. This doesn't mean neglect. It means restraint. Calm presence communicates trust far more effectively than excitement ever could. True bonding also requires exposure to pressure without rescue. Many owners instinctively step in the moment something feels tense. Livestock crowding, a dog standing too close, a startled animal. But these micro moments are where the dog learns self-regulation. When allowed to resolve low-level tension on its own, the LGD develops judgment. When constantly interrupted, it never learns where the line is. As the bond deepens, you'll see the dog begin to enforce boundaries on behalf of the animals, not against them. It may subtly reposition itself between individuals. It may block access points without being aggressive. It may discourage movement during vulnerable moments like feeding or rest. These behaviors aren't taught. They emerge when the dog starts viewing the animals as a system instead of individuals. This is also where many owners misinterpret calm as disengagement. A bonded LGD often looks inactive because it has already solved the problem mentally. It knows where threats would come from. It knows which animals need monitoring. It knows when movement would create more risk than stillness. This level of confidence only develops when bonding is allowed to mature without being micromanaged. Weather, seasons, and time of day further refine the bond. A guardian that truly understands its animals adjusts automatically. It shadows more closely during storms. It positions differently during heat. It alters patrols when livestock behavior changes. These adaptations aren't random. They're evidence that the dog has internalized the animal's needs as part of its own decision-making process. Failures in bonding usually trace back to one of three things: inconsistent placement, human interference, or premature expectations. Expecting adult behavior from a young guardian fractures trust. Expecting constant interaction undermines authority. Expecting immediate results ignores how slowly judgment develops in working dogs. When bonding is done correctly, something subtle but powerful happens. The dog no longer reacts to livestock. It reacts for them. It doesn't chase threats impulsively. It applies pressure strategically. It doesn't need reminders. It doesn't need reinforcement. It simply operates. And this is the point where most owners stop worrying, because the farm settles into a rhythm where the presence of the guardian feels permanent, reliable, and unquestioned. Losses stop being mysterious. Behavior becomes predictable, and the bond becomes something you no longer manage. It manages itself. That's the real goal of bonding a livestock guardian dog to animals. Not control, not obedience, but alignment. When instinct, environment, and responsibility finally converge, the guardian doesn't just stay with livestock. It belongs with them.